Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. We're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, and it's now time for North Georgia Senior Living with Community Relations Director Jessi Barton from Cameron Hall. I didn't even look at the screen. Did I get that right?
I know.
I've been practicing.
Yay, I can tell.
Community Relations Director from Cameron Hall, Jessi Barton.
Jessi?
Jessi? Oh, you're Jessi. Wow.
You've got an accent.
Now, everybody's having fun. Okay, now, I'll tell you what I want to talk about, and I don't know what direction you want to go on some things, but when it comes to, this is a time of the year, we get a lot of visitors, but this is a time of year, October, we get a lot of visitors to this area. There's certain points of time when we have a lot of you visit out there, our North Georgia area, and you want to see our orchards and our apple festival and the leaves and the pumpkins and the winery, and there's new wines being revealed right now. So, but this is a time after this is where several people will make their decision to retire here.
They fall in love with us because we're just so wonderful up here.
That's why. Drop the mic. It's over.
It's done.
Done. You fall in love. We're wonderful. But it is a time where people make decisions to retire.
They do. They do. They find this area. A lot of times it starts with a part-time cabin. You know, they come up on the weekends. They come up to the mountains, and then they retire here. And then sometimes even mom and dad might still be in Florida, and they bring mom and dad with them.
You know, that's what I was just getting ready to say is when we do the Apple Festival, I will talk to a lot of people, you know, why did you come up? What brought you up here? You know, and things like that. And they'll say, well, we're going to retire here. And what we like, interesting enough, is if, let's just use the number 65. If they're 65 and mom and dad are, 80, 85 or whatever, they want to bring mom and dad with them.
Yeah.
And Cameron Hall offers that great option to do that. I have met several people that, well, we came up, but we didn't want to stay until we made sure that mom and dad could have somewhere. And we want to remind people we're talking assisted living.
Assisted living.
Not 100% dependent on a nursing home. We've talked about that.
Right.
And you guys have an assisted living where there's still independence.
We encourage as much independence as possible because independent people are happier and live longer and have better quality of life. So we encourage the independence, but we're there to help with the little things that they might need.
What are some of the things maybe that correlate with seniors or people that are visiting our area in October, a great month? What are some of the things that correlate with senior citizens that they can do when they're up here visiting?
So I think we've got some great state parks that you can do some gentle hiking and get a feel for the mountains. There's some, pretty level hiking trails like at Amicalola Falls. Fort Mountain has some great areas that you can visit and do. Definitely engage in our outdoors. Be an active senior.
Okay. October. What else is going on for Jessi in October, and how busy are you this month?
So fortunately, Cameron Hall doesn't have a lot going on like with the apple part of it. We do send our residents go on a field trip to the apple orchard and have lunch. We are having an art show, a resident art show on Saturday, October 20th, and people can come and vote on their residents' art, so that'll be fun. First Baptist is holding so if you get here on a Friday, First Baptist is holding a lifeline screening on October 19th. It is a way to check for your risk of stroke, cardiovascular disease, or other chronic conditions. So that'll be Friday, October 19th at First Baptist.
And this is a lifeline screening. Is this like the where they check all your arteries and everything?
It is.
Yeah.
See that artery right there? That may be what mine looks like.
Yeah. Okay. Because lifeline screening recognized with a A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, offers 5 test package to thoroughly check your risk of stroke, cardiovascular disease, and other chronic conditions. Conditions. I've been wanting to do this myself. That's why I got very interested here. I've been wanting to do this myself, and that is actually not a bad price. $149.
Not really at all. So,
tell us a little bit about Cameron Hall. What people need to do or need to know about all the things that you offer. But that was pretty broad. But what I mean is like how to get started looking into if Cameron Hall is right for them.
So there's different aspects. So it could be as simple as the house is too much to take care of, the housekeeping, keeping up with the meals, just your daily chores might be a little bit too much to handle. Maybe preparing meals is becoming hard. I mean, preparing for one person can be tough, but maybe you've got some limitations and you wear out easy and it's harder to cook for yourself. Maybe you just get a little nervous being alone, or you're lonely and depression is starting to set in. So, you want to start looking at assisted living not as a way. I've got a lot of people that say, well, I'm not that bad. But what they're equating that to is possibly the nursing home. And there is a place for that, but assisted living, you can be independent. You don't have to reach a certain level of sickness or disability to be able to come. You want to come and be able to enjoy it while you're there because you make friends. I've got one little group of ladies, and everywhere they go, they're always walking everywhere together.
Let me ask you this, I didn't prepare you for this question, and I asked you when we started, are there some areas you want to talk about? You said whatever, and I said, so you gave me a whatever. So this is the whatever.
I may have made a mistake.
No, not really. You're going to handle this. How do you approach, or do you have material that helps people approach mom and dad to have the discussion?
Very good question.
Because I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about that. Mom and dad having the discussion with mom and dad, and they don't think it's the right time, or they don't feel they need it, or whatever. And I understand that, but how do you do that? How do you approach that, and what's the best way?
So the most popular response that I get when somebody approaches the subject of assisted living is, I'm not ready. It's a pretty broad statement. I'm not ready. So my comeback to them is, number one, what does ready look like, and what do you not think you're ready for? And so they can usually at that point will come back with, oh, well, I don't lay in bed all day, or I'm not that sick. So that gives us a good starting point. But if you are starting to have that discussion with mom and dad or another loved one that maybe you're caring for, there are a ton of resources on our website, how to initiate the conversation, when is a good time, preparing before an emergency happens. So we've got tons of resources. Or if you want to just role play and talk through it with me, I'll be glad to do that.
So you will, if somebody is wanting to talk to their parents about assisted living, Cameron Hall, and how do I approach that, you're open to talking with them on how to go forward with it?
Absolutely. Because that's a scary subject to broach. And then what I always tell the adult children is, we've been talking about things that happen when you're in high school. Mom and dad have tough conversations with us. This may not be the best choices for the path you want to go down. So they have that tough conversation with us as teenagers. So in turn, it's time for us to have that tough conversation with them.
Well, and one thing is a lot of people don't want to leave their home. They don't want to leave their friends, and so it's understandable. It's a big change, but in the assisted living, next thing you know, you have your own room, you have all kinds of friends, and your family comes and goes anytime they want to say hello. So I can understand it's a tough conversation. Now I have some homework for you.
Okay.
I've been watching the promos for this new show, And I said, okay, I want to check it out to see what it's like. It's called The Cool Kids.
Cool Kids.
Okay?
Okay.
And it's about 4 people that live in an assisted living.
Really?
And they're called The Cool Kids.
I haven't seen this. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have cable, but...
I don't have cable.
Okay.
I can work this out for you. All right?
Okay, good.
But I said, you know what? I want to see this because they're all in their 60s or 70s. There's 4 of them, and they're called The Cool Kids. And it's really funny. It was really funny. It's based on an assisted living, and you'll really enjoy it. I mean, you'll really enjoy it. So you got to watch that and come back and tell me.
Well, and I read an article the other day that bullying within the senior living community is almost as bad as it is in schools. So
Senior bullying. Give me back my tapioca pudding. Okay. This could go wrong.
that went really...
This could go wrong really fast. Okay. I'm sorry. It's always great when you laugh out loud in the show. I'm your host, BKP. We're going to be running a little late, so after these messages, I promised you a segment. Dr. David Markwell, down here in McKaysville, we wanted to talk about how does your brain recall memory? How does your memory and your brain work to recall things? And we have a segment we're going to play for you right on the other side of these commercials, and then we will see you right back after that.